They don't exist. With egos, you soar.
Any money where I get, I dey flex, I dey go, the best.
My dream is my dream is shopping with you in Montego.
I'm on your thinking to Monty for my head.
Oh yeah, today is a very, very beautiful day as every other day is, but of course we will indeed give apt attention to today because we are leaving today and the past is yesterday, right? As we look forward to shaping the future tomorrow. My name is Udwak Daniel, and yes, we will be talking politics and current affairs right about now. So get around, tell everybody to come around because politics is something that is for the young, the old, and for everybody. I mean, because we don't talk politics, how are we going to change the narrative? And changing the narrative is not just about saying, you know what, let them do their politics. It doesn't bother me, doesn't concern me. But you forget that politics in itself is about making choices and decisions. It's about opportunity cost. It's about scale of preference. It's about administration. It's about governance. And one way or the other, in fact, every time of the day, of the second, you have become a government of yourself. And that's why politics is very important. If not for anything, at least for yourself. To bring about the comfortability. A senile society. A society that's sane. That has people, leaders, followers who show accountability. As well as who make themselves available. Telling every other person that, look, I am transparent. I've got integrity. And what is integrity? I've said it before and must say it again. It's doing the right thing, whether someone is watching you or nobody is seeing you. That is integrity. But have we been able to achieve or attain that just yet? Some big questions, right? Tinubu calls for inclusive growth and sustainable development. What does it mean for Nigeria? Right? Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigeria's head of state, used the Second National Economic Council NEC conference on February 9 yesterday, 2026, to work towards inclusive growth and sustainable development. So, no part of the country is left behind. So that speech was framed around the Renewed Hope National Development Plan 2026 to 2030. Now you should take critical sense to this now. A medium-term strategy put together by Mr. President, described as evidence-based, realistic, and anchored in inclusive balance and environmental sustainable growth. Now, am I speaking too much English now? Okay, let me paint you a picture. At the Renewed Hope National Development Plan 2026 to 2030, let me paint you a picture. Just think of Nigeria. Think of Nigeria as a big, colorful puzzle. Now, this puzzle has many pieces. Now, these pieces you can call states, towns, villages. Follow me now. Now, the Renewed Hope National Development Plan 2026 to 2030 is a picture guide. More like a picture guide that tells everyone how to put the puzzle together so that every piece fits nicely. And that way, no piece is left out. Remember the piece I gave as states, the towns, the villages, the people. These are the piece in the puzzle. So, what Mr. President is saying is that it's a 5-year roadmap. More like a 5-year roadmap, 2026 to 2030, that says Let's work together. Let's make Nigeria better for all of us. The main big ideas is like the big blocks in a toy box. The block is like the pillar. What it means is, in simple words, let me put it out. One of the things that Mr. President is pushing for with this development plan 2026 to 2030 is economic diversification. In other words, Mr. President is saying, let us stop relying on oil money, grow other businesses like farming, technology, and factories. So imagine a child who only gets candy. The plan says, add fruits, add vegetables, and milk so you can stay healthy. Another aspect of it is human capital development. Teach children, train youths, keep adults healthy so they can work well. It's more like teaching a child to read, write, and count than giving them crayons to draw and build. Then if you also look at another aspect of that plan, 2026 to 2030 development plan now, it's looking into states' competitiveness. Where states will be looking at the other states and saying, they just did this, I should do this. I should also do this. It's more like everybody giving the other one close marking. Oh, they built an industry for cement. And it's creating jobs. Oh, we should think about building an industry for sugar. They got cement, we got sugar. We will also employ people. People will be working. And they'll be earning. So each state should become strong in something and it's good at. For example, if for example Benue State, where is known for agriculture, Niger State can decide that, look, we want to go into tourism. Abuja can say, you know what, let's look into tech. Let's become the tech hub in the north. So if one child is great at drawing, let them draw. If another is good at running, let them run. That's the point. That's what Mr. President is saying. That's what this development plan is all about. A private sector-led growth, where businesses are encouraged, investors are encouraged to create jobs and services. It's more like inviting friends to play in the sandpit and together you build a bigger castle. Climate resilience is one of it. Protect the environment, plant trees, prepare for floods or droughts. It's more like wearing a raincoat when it rains so you don't get wet. So how is it going to work? There is a need to set clear goals. There's a need for us to write down what we want to achieve, and I guess that's what Mr. President is doing now. There is a need to share the national revenue fact fairly so each state can start its own projects. And yes, Mr. President has been giving money to states. I guess that's why he's coming with the 2026 to 2030 development plan, saying, I've been giving you money all this time, all this while. Oh, I want to see that money yield fruits. What are you doing with it? Do something unique for your people, you governors. States, please, do something. There is a need to have a digital dashboard where we can track our progress. If you like, you might want to call it a magical board, so that everyone can see what's done and what's pending. We know where we are, what we have not done, what's left to be done, what needs to be done in terms of priority, in terms of essentiality, necessity. There is also need for us to check the quality of it. So it's not just about tracking the progress, but you're checking the quality of it. So there is need to bring about independent auditors. Like teachers checking homework, you know? That process when a teacher is checking the child's homework or the pupil's homework, yeah. There's supposed to be a place of needs assessment to make sure the money isn't wasted. And there is also the need to tell everyone, to be transparent, to be open with it, so that everybody gets quarterly reports and town hall meetings, keeping citizens informed. More like a newsletter, yeah? More like a newsletter. So what are we gonna gain from it? It followed to the letter. Remember. Countless political observers, people of stature and ethics, people who believe in standards and standardization, they've always come to say that our problem is not really about what is on paper. Oh, we got paperwork. We know paper. I think, I dare say that Nigeria is the capital of paperwork. Good, beautiful plans, paperwork. We have it. We do. That's why when we go outside the shores of Nigeria, even if we don't know the technical know-how, but we know how to put it on script, we applaud it. Oh, we're doing good. Now, this is paperwork. But it followed to the letter in terms of implementation, execution, removing the bureaucracy. Maybe we will have more jobs, new factories, farms, tech hubs, meaning parents can find work and earn money. Maybe we will have better schools and hospitals, new classrooms, teachers, clinics, medicines for children and families. Maybe we will have an improved road network and transport system, making it easier to travel to markets, schools, hospitals, like a smooth slide instead of a bumpy one. Just like we find on Nigerian roads today, even federal roads and state roads. Shamefully as that might sound, but yes, that's the fact. Maybe we will have cleaner environment where trees are planted, waste is managed, food defenses are built, children can play outside safely. Parents would not have to look over their shoulders. Where's my son? Where's my daughter? You just know that they're safe because the society is clean. The environment is clean. Maybe we will have stronger states where each region can shine in its own way. Reducing one state is better than the other feeling. You know that feeling? I want this state is better. You know, many times when we talk about insecurity in Abuja, we say Abuja is even better. It's better than, what about Niger State? And no, don't go there. Our insecurity is well managed here. So we wouldn't have that kind of conversation. But we'll say this state is better than, no. That feeling. Maybe we will have more money in the people's pockets, in your pockets. With diverse businesses, prices can become stable. Families can afford food, clothes, and even toys for their children, and shelter, good accommodation. I'm not talking face me, I face you. That's not accommodation. In fact, a country that has a face me, I face you in surplus, that country should hide in shame. Face me, I face you in this modern era. Maybe if this plan is followed to the letter, maybe we will regain the trust and hope and confidence in the system, knowing that there's a clear path, a clear plan that makes people feel like they're part of a team working towards a bright future. Maybe, just maybe. The bottom line is that the Renewed Hope National Development Plan 2026 to 2030 is Nigeria's 5-year playbook, if you like to put it that way. And this playbook is to make the country healthier, richer, fairer for every citizen, just like a well-organized kindergarten classroom, where every child gets a chance to learn, play, and grow. That's what Mr. President's vision is for the 2026 to 2030 Renewed Hope National Development Plan. However, be that as it may, there is a central question that bothers my mind. And I'll be asking that question as we do connect with our guest in a short bit. Our guest now is in the person of Mr. Benedict Olaleko Agunloye. Now, Mr. Benedict is like no other, because he's an information professional. He's a policy and public affairs analyst. And he will add his voice in the discourse this morning as we go conversational. Good morning to you, Mr. Benedict.
Good morning.
All right. Welcome aboard to the discourse this morning.
Thank you.
Right. Did it rain over there?
No, it did not.
Oh, okay.
There was a little cloud, but the cloud is clearing out.
It's clearing out. Okay. Well, I learned that rain fell in Nyanya. People say showers a blessing for a renewed hope. For renewed hope, you know. But anyways, Mr. Benedict, we're looking at the renewed hope National Development Plan 2026 to 2030, which Mr. President has put together, and he's saying that we will be running with it. In fact, this call by Mr. President should be commended. Honestly, it should be commended. It should be commended because of the highlights, the things that it carries, right? Because of what it is talking about. But there is one question the Nigerians are indeed very critical of, or critical about. And that would be, where can citizens access the full set of data and reports referenced in this entire conversation? How can we indeed monitor it? How can we evaluate it? Will it even come to bear? How can we shun the bureaucracy? Because we know over time that we are good planners. We will write it in the books, write it as a constitution, and flout it at the same time. The impunity has grown to an exceedingly great level. What do you think about the entire package? And what are your fears and concerns about it?
My concern will be very simple. The practical reality is we have not been short of plans all through the process. If we start from as short as the Babangida government, you remember Hope for All in the year 2000, Health for All in the year 2000, Education for All in the year 2000. But of course, 2000 is come and then gone. Yes, he put in a number of things at the time, which, if we will be sincere with ourselves, resonate on the grassroots. Things like the DFRI at the time, that's Directorate of Food, Roads and Rural Infrastructure. It will amaze you to know that some of the roads still being used by farmers in some of the states in the south, in southern Nigeria in particular, where those roads opened, those untarred roads opened by DFRI in the early 1990s. Now, the Abacha regime came with Vision 2010, which I think never really get on track because, of course, he died and there was change of government. We had those who also came in with the Jonathan regime had the Vision 2020 will be in the top 20 economy in the world. And then you come down to the Buhari regime with the economic growth, that ERGP, Economic Renewal and Growth Project. But again, we could ask the question, where are we on that? So any development plan that does not trickle down to the people immediately is not going to resonate soundly with the people. I think that at the moment, the economic outlook at the macro level, at the level of the government and international development, seems to be positive and good. But we need to now dig deep down and come to the people on the street. Are they paying less for food? The answer is no. The prices at Mama Put has continued to go up in the last 3 years, and it has not receded at any point in time. The price of bread has also not dropped, at least in the places that I live, in the last 4 years. It has only increased from one point, stabilize and will increase again. Now, so when you look at price of transportation, they are also not reducing. So if the price of transport goes down, the price of food did not go down at the retail level. I'm not talking about bag of rice. It's not every Nigerian that can buy a bag of rice. So sometimes the fact that the price has gone down at the level of the bag doesn't mean that it's going down at the level of the cup, and doesn't mean that it's going down at the level of the woman that is cooking the food. Even if you tell her rice has gone down, we tell you maybe onions or tomato is now what? Expensive. And transport had not changed. Yeah. So what we'll be looking for in essence, therefore, is early completion of some of the road projects that are in place. When the roads are completed and they are good, the chances are that more people on their own can engage with the system and sell what they have on their farm. As we speak today, I think for more than 10 years, for more than 15 years, the price of palm oil, 1 liter, had always been higher than 2 to 3 liters of petrol. And that has been the practice. But we still have palm fruits wasting away in the farm fields. So what that tells you is, rather than looking at maybe one mega palm oil refinery in the state, perhaps in the about 19 or 20 states where you have palm, we might be looking at some cottage oil mills at that level. Now, what does that do to the people? It engages the grassroots because they have the palm on their farms. They are going to engage people to cut it for them locally. They will carry it to wherever the mill is within their locality, and then they are sure that they will get good return on what they are bringing in, as against the current perilous system where if you are in some of the processing, the local processing place, and the rain starts, you stand the chance of losing the entire oil for the day. Maybe what you go back home with is palm kernel. And so, if, for instance, at that level, we engage the rural areas, these people will then have men who man the mill, people who do the carrying. And at that instance, you are actually adding employment to the people. Right. It might not be at the larger scale, but if that happens, maybe for instance across the 774 local governments or across about 300 local governments, if you are involving 100, if you are changing the life of 100 people in 300 local governments, what you actually have done is that at least you have changed the life of 30,000 people. Right. Knowing who we are, each of these 30,000 people have dependents whose life they will also affect. Right. And now, then, as of today, any adulterated product is a danger and a concern to everyone. Now, palm oil is used in several many ways. If you now have in the market that people are talking about adulterated palm oil, that's a problem. Adulterated means that if you can clean that channel, for instance, the chance for adulteration won't be there. You are looking at the health sector. There are still electoral wards in Nigeria without a primary health care facility. I think that such should be done. Now, doing that means you are definitely going to have to engage more people to work in those places, from security to cleaners to the rest. And they are going to come from those various communities. Now, the more people that have stable income, the better for the society, because they can plan and they can help others and they can do things. Now, part of the past law that talks about education for all.
Yeah.
As of today, when you check public schools in FCT, there are more than 50 students in the class. And that's why a lot of parents cannot afford to give their children in the public school. But they take it to the private school, some of which are not well regulated. Some of the teachers, in my opinion, are not competent enough, but they still have to pay a higher fee. Now, January comes in, and one of the biggest trouble or cries everywhere in town is paying of school fees. And majority of which are private schools. So whatever development we are doing, we need to look at the education sector. The schools have land, build more classrooms, engage more teachers, and let's have more students within those environments so that the parents can pay less and then the student can have quality education. That way, your growth or development will be affecting the grassroots.
All right. Now, this time, there are some critical concerns that Nigerians and family members are having. Although just recently, a recent report shows that Nigeria has been ranked among the top 10 contributors to global GDP growth in 2026, and that's according to projections by the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Now, if you recall that sometime in 2015, I beg your pardon, sometime in 2015, according to Bloomberg report on New World Economic Order, Nigeria's economy was ranked to be among top 10 or top 20 largest in the world by 2030. Right? So Nigeria is the only African country on the forecast report ranked 19th as of 2015, I believe, just above Netherlands, which is the 20th. But right now, it doesn't seem as though that is the case. But let's come to a pertinent question. I mean, the implementation gap. Because we've always talked about the fact that we are so good with writing things in paper. I mean, the Constitution is also written in paper. But then implementation, execution, following it through letter to letter has been the bane of it. Past development plans have often stalled at the execution stage and has left projects unfinished. And that's why you've been mentioning, some of these gaps that we find in the education sector, the health sector, the roads, and all of that infrastructure. Do you think that what we need is another vision 2026 to 2030? Because that's how I'd like to see it. And that's how Nigerians are seeing it. Vision 2026 to Vision 2030. Right? Is that what we need to indeed ensure that the states and local levels, it will not just be a paper promise, especially when Mr. President has increased FAC allocations given to states. And states have more monies. And yet, we are still where we are. How will the government track and publish how each state spends its share and bring that development to the grassroots?
Like we have said, what the grassroots require is not palliative. What the grassroots require is inclusive development.
So are you saying this is palliative? Is this palliative, the Renewed Hope development plan?
Yeah, the Renewed Hope plan is not palliative. But what you see more people in government and in office trying to do at different levels is more of what we would call shock relief or palliative. We need to get back on track. Like I said, there are still different roads today that are functioning. There are still boreholes, songs in the early 1990s by different that are still functioning. What that tells you was that, that was a military regime, that there were some studies and there were some connection with the immediate needs.
So now we are not progressive. We are not progressive. Are we not progressive?
So, yes, we're not making good progress on that part.
Oh.
Now, we have an Obasanjo regime, of course, that came and scrapped whatever was on ground, not minding whether they were working or not working. So basically, there is that need to go back. What did Jeffrey do right that we need to bring back? What was now that doing before it was scrapped? Buhari brought it back, but I don't think we are back to where they were in Abacha regime. So we need to carefully look at it. What do we need to develop in each of the states? What part will federal government play? What part will state government play? What part will the individuals play? Now, for me, I don't see. I wouldn't even be looking at it in the form of a joint project. No. The federal government could decide to say, okay, maybe let's talk about cottage oil mill now. For instance, we are doing 10 per senatorial district. That's the federal government. Put that 10 anywhere. Let the state come and say, we are doing 1 per state constituency. Go ahead and do it. But do not repeat in the part where the government have done. If across board, they have done 10 or 15,000, affecting 100 lives each, you are talking of 1.5 million people affected. Then look at the trickle down effect. That's that for that sector. But of course, there are farm states where they still plant today, and their material decompose because they could not access the market.
Right.
So we will be talking about rural roads. It doesn't have to be mega express. It should be rural roads that can get them to the express, that can get them nearer to the market. That way, what is produced on the farm can come to the street.
Okay.
So it's not just sufficient talking about agroeconomy, agropreneur, and this and that. No. Some people are at their subsistence level, but they produce enough to feed themselves and they have some to sell.
Okay.
And then they will be able to sell or increase their productivity if you give them access.
Yeah. Okay, let's put a peg.
market.
Let's take this call now. Let's just take this call quickly. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, Chimeze.
Yes.
All right, where are you calling from? I'm fine. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Gwagwalada
All right.
presently.
Talk to us, Chimeze. Go ahead. Yeah.
Hi, I have a musician released a song. 2, I have to just say it. Femi Kuti. I'm sorry, you. I'm sorry for Nigeria. Then to say, it be like say they want to start another story again. No,
Right.
you see the problem we have in this country borders on one thing: building a castle on nothing, not even a quicksand. From Vision 2020 to 2010, from 2010 to 2026, 2026 to 2030, you are not sure of coming back to power. You say you are going to continue from where Buhari stopped. We have seen the results. For how long do we continue this deceit in this country? President Tinubu, please help. You are the chief executive. Help these people. Help Nigerians. Nigerians are suffering. The pain is too much. This pain is too much. These stories are endless. You don't have light. You don't have water. You are talking of killing tax on everything. Now, I asked somebody a question yesterday. You are talking of tax, Nigeria Revenue Service. Please, how many states are we paying Lagos State tax, Enugu State tax, or federal tax? Now, you are talking of Vision 2020. These stories are endless. They come out to nothing than deceit and diversion. It's endless. Enough of this pain. Please, I beg you people in the name of God, pity these Nigerian suffering citizens.
So, Chimeze, you don't believe in the 2026 to 2030 National Development Plan put together by
That's
Mr.
what
President?
I'm saying. Listen,
Okay.
They have no plan, they have no vision. You talk about petrol subsidy, electricity subsidy. Who told you are paying subsidy? And who told you that subsidy has been removed? Now you're talking of Vision 2026 to 2030. What happened other years you have been in power? If when people want to realize themselves, their amnesia, you induce them again to comatose. This is lies. They have nothing to offer.
Okay.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
Chimeze says there's all lies, there's all propaganda. They have nothing to offer. And Let's just quickly take this one from Samuel, all the way from Kuje. Samuel says, greetings to you, brother. Abongudwak Daniel, greetings to you too, my brother. It says, UD, the Renewed Hope National Development Plan is only on paper. It's not in practice. It's only a talk show to make the masses relaxed and think that the government is coming up with something good. After all the said and done, there will be nothing to show for it. Government upon government keep coming with fantastic plans, but at the end, we will not see anything changing. Things end up becoming worse than we can imagine. We no longer need plans on paper, but functional plans that will put smiles on the faces of the rural people. All right, thanks, and have a fulfilled day, you two. Right, we'll take one more call, then we'll get back with with our guest. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Udwa.
Olatunji from Kubwa. Talk to me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, sir. First of all, before I will forget, I want to talk about gap and hunger. You see, our guests talk about just crack the whole thing that's not working. I want to say that time it's about the beginning of democracy, and now hunger for what we want and what we need and what is supposed to be is different and high than that time. And gap talks about the non-performance of the former government, so that has brought a gap in whatever the present government is doing as policy. And one thing that I want to say is that talk about, I want to say, even people will say I endorse Tinubu just because of economic policy.
Yeah.
Just it's policy, and I will talk based on fact. You can see the woman of World Bank, I Tinubu and commended him about his courage and confidence on that station. Nobody aligned to that speech of that woman. So I want to ask on those.
Oh, Olatunji, we're losing connection with you now. Are you there?
What I'm trying to say,
yeah, the question. Yeah.
Development. So capital development, I want to tell you fact that I'm saying. Now you can see business all around the community. I'm saying. Can you think there's no money? There is money, but it's not that people are channeling it. And we are talking about cost of prices. It is what people are taking money now. It's just for you to recalculate what am I consuming with the income I'm making. And I want to tell you that food of price you. We talk about some people. We talk about transport. Transport, there is another avenue like solar. Let's believe that it has back or come the way they have explained to us. So I want to we hear all these things. Look at what this man talk in the economy yet, even the price. You see, so I'm a businessman. There was people who are suffering just because I want to promote that business. And when I do business, I'm enjoying. So I still take care of them as the security around me. So this is what they are doing, and that we generate.
Okay.
As a businessman, the flow of currency and everything. As a businessman, and so I think the government is on right track.
All right, government is on the right track. All right. Government, Olatunji says, is on the right track. But Sir Benedict, before I connect, before I get back with you now, I should also inform that the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, expressed concern over the huge amount of unsold goods, which was estimated at 1.8 trillion naira as of the first 9 months of 2025. And according to them, is largely attributed to weak consumer demand, high production cost, inflation, limited access to credit, and the inventory buildup is not just limited to finished goods, but also raw materials, with manufacturers stockpiling inputs to hedge against inflation and exchange rate volatility. Now, Sir B, Chimezi had said, I mentioned something. We lack, do we have continuity of governance? Because we see presidents, administration presidents come, they give a vision that goes into the far future. Even when they will not be on seats, they give vision for 2050. I know that there is a particular sector that there's been declared a vision from now to 2050. 2050?
Yes.
Would you even be alive? But what about continuity in governance? We don't have it.
You see, there is nothing wrong in a long-term plan. But now, when you check it, they used to say that the old man that plants a tree, right, he is not thinking about himself, but he's thinking about the children that are coming. But the children that are coming have the right to allow the tree to grow and begin to yield fruit, or cut it to make firewood, or cut it to make money while they are still young. So what the future generation do with the tree planted by the old man who is on close to his grave is not the old man's fault, but that of that future generation. Like I said, when the Obasanjo administration, for instance, came in, there were a few things that were working. All it could have done was to sack the management and change them. But we scrapped all of them, maybe for hatred for the government that was gone or for whatever other reason. We just did what? We just scrapped them and we left them at that. So what we're saying is there is the need for continuity. There is the need for institutional resilience. There is the need for building manpower. Now, not to forget, in the immediate plan, if the government will resonate with the people, they need to do more training, at least in the security sector. If you say you need to have forest guards, please, let's have more of them. Let's have no more ungoverned spaces. Whatever non-kinetic means that they are thinking of using to control insecurity will not be effective until you have sufficient ability to show these people that you can deal with them. You see, when you are a senior in the school, for instance, and the junior know that you are better than them in every ramification, if you try to put them in order, they want to listen to you, especially those who are directly behind you. But if they know your academic is not strong, even if you are an acting prefect, they believe that by next year they will be in the same class with you. And so they will not respect what you are saying. So we need to have more boots on ground. It's not that today something happened in Kwara, you are deploying troops there. The troops that are going there, where they are living, nobody is replacing them. That's the practical reality. Because you cannot train a soldier overnight. So we need to improve on physical security. Then we will now back them by technology. Technology does not replace human beings. If you have cameras everywhere and there is nobody in the control room monitoring the camera will only take a record of what has happened. Until you go and play it back, that's when you will do it. So if you don't have enough, but if you have enough men to man the control room 24/7, then you know that there are strange movements, certain things are wrong, and there are men to deploy or there are resources to deploy to the environment immediately. So basically, whatever we are saying, security must be top notch. If the people feel safe wherever they are and they can move when they should move, then the sense of apprehension that is existing today will be better than what it was.
Right.
Yes, at the macroeconomic level, what the global watchers will measure, we may be doing very well. Now, at the last check, in the oil sector, you possibly have professionals less than about 50,000 or less, compared to the number of professionals in Nigeria. But because they earn on the average more than all the others, when you take the average pool of salary, we can be talking about output per head being so high. But that doesn't mean that has trickled down. We need to know that multidimensional poverty in some states is still as high as 70%, if not higher. So how do you deal with those multidimensionally poor people? And that's why we are saying put cottage industry at their doorstep, so that what they bring out of their farm, they can process. Go to Benue and process mango, process orange, and then the people in their locality can bring some and bring it to this processing plant. Some people will be engaged with quality check and a lot of that, and then you realize that in the value chain, a lot would have happened. And of course, when the output is ready, the state government should earn tax from PE and should earn something for value added tax. So we need to begin to look at this thing at that domesticated level. Each state, I used to know there is this letter written by Tony Momo.
Yeah.
Letter to my countrymen on SAP. Either book 4 or book 7. At the time, we have only maybe 389 or 489 local government. I think 489 local government. We was able to detail at the time what is available in each local government based on agriculture, based on mineral resources, majorly. But you realize that there is also that dimension that every part of this nation has potentials in human capital. You see, children who have not gone to school in some part of Kaduna, in some part of Bebauchi, when they do craft or they do molding or they forge metals for you, they have not been trained by anybody. They have not gone to any school. They have not watched any do-it-yourself video. But they do this thing so well. It tells you that if you take them and you develop them in that capacity, they will do more. We possibly will be here manufacturing car parts that could even be sold to other nations. So it is just for the government to, at all levels, they should look at what do we have. Like I said, every part of the nation has human resources.
Yeah.
Some have more natural resources than the other. Some can do agriculture. Some can do fishing.
I mean, that's what the plan is about. What the president is putting together, saying that there should be state competitiveness. State competitiveness. That each state should go back and look inwardly and bring about what it is that they can do that will stand them out from the other states. Because the Mr. President is saying that FAC allocation is there, so you can't tell me there's no money. You can't tell me that there's no money. That's what Mr. President is saying to the states now through this plan. And he calls it the Renewed Hope Development Program or Plan, if you like.
Yeah, so that's what we are saying. So it is not just identify, it is take immediate action. Let's dwell on the little, on the low-hand use on the farm or wherever people have their farm. They can bring things to the street. You don't expect somebody to carry heavy loads for 7 kilometers. If the farm is 7 kilometers into the bush, right? He can only bring home what he's going to eat. But if there is a road linking that farm, then a truck can go in there and bring those things into the market. And then, of course, it may affect the price in the market because there may be cloth, but it will not, that is still better than it rotting away on the farm still.
Right.
And in areas where we can process, like I said, Benue has no business not processing orange. Benue has no business not processing mango. Same goes for some other states. They have no business not processing cashew. Many of the states in the south and the north central have no business not processing palm oil. But a lot of these things are not being done. And what we are saying is, if you cannot do it mega, do it mini or micro, based on what? Based on local government in areas where these things are available.
Right.
So that one, there can be price stability. And that means that those who are the agripreneur can also plan. As of today, some agripreneur practice are abracadabra. Like I would always say, onions at sometimes is 140 a bag. At other times it's 30,000. So if you have gone into the market at the time, to farming at the time it was 140. Maybe your business projection will be based on 100,000 or thereabout. And then by the time your output is hitting the market, the price is 30,000.
Yeah.
It's a huge discouragement. But if we have more things around, and then of course you have an off-taking point, whether it will be a private public sector agreement So you know that it was done in those days, in the days of marketing board. I used to know that my grandfather said his cocoa to the cocoa board, to the cooperative. So the price is guaranteed. At some time, the price is selling to them is lower than the price in the open market. At some other time, it is higher. But the price for the board was constant. And when the season is over, the board will now sit down and look at what they call cocoa rebate. They give them chemicals, they give them other things, right, for free. But you get to the proportion of what you sold to the board, because that's the only way they can measure the size of your output or your need. So, but that was good for them. So he doesn't have to think about where to get the right chemical or the right deal input. No, he just relax. When he has harvest, he give it to the board and relax. So it's not him that will be managing them for assessment. No, the assessment is done by the board with their export partners. So I also think that we need to get back to that point where such is introduced. Where such is introduced. And when you are moving perishable items, I keep saying it, when you take banana from the south and you are coming to the north, sometimes you lose more than half on the way. When you also go up north and you take tomatoes, for instance, and you are taking it to Lagos, maybe from Kano or Bindi or Bauchi, but before you get to Lagos, you are likely going to have lost half. So we possibly need to also think of a transportation system that can do some preservation on the way. Something like a cooling cargo system, where you know that when you put it in Bauchi to the get to Lagos, it will remain fresh. And then Lagos can also have a center where such items are uploaded and they can still maintain the temperature and the preservation. So if you have such system in place, so we should be working at putting such system in place in the immediate.
Okay.
It shouldn't be a long-term event. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The processing plant, you don't wait until, like I would always say, you don't wait until you sink the ball before you start drinking water. We know that some of these machines can be fabricated and done locally, but the steel is not here yet. We have not rolled that at Jakarta, so we are still importing steel. So rather than import steel and wait for 3 months and this and that, we can actually import some of these mini processing equipment and install them, give them to cooperatives in the contiguous areas, in the world, at the world level, at the local government level, as the case may be. And let's see over the next 90 days that a number of these things they are started and they are functioning and people can see them. So when you are now talking about connecting the bigger dreams, the people at the grassroots, because they have seen what you have done at their level, they will believe you, they will not badmouth you, and they will put their hope and their trust in you.
Appreciate this one from you, Mr. Benedict Olalekan lawyer. You are indeed an information professional, policy and public affairs analyst, and you put your voice in it. I think you're not condemning the national plan, the Renewed Hope National Development Plan, are you? Are you condemning it?
I am not condemning.
Okay, you're only saying
that. I'm saying that the elements that affect the masses, the grassroots, should be taken out and be executed first.
All right.
While you are doing your macro, let the micro scale be happening. So that you are not talking about positive growth, positive results that is not having impact on the people. And I think that's what the president is saying by talking about